Thanks for joining us again for another awesome episode of InFocus Recouched. I'm Dora Amamuya.
And I'm Kent Kingston. Coming up, we've got kid rapping sensation Jojo Rock. Facts about those trendy low-carb diets. And we ask the question, who's caring for the carers?
Ooh. But first up, let's check out an interview you did in 2014, Ken, with mission pilot Roger Millist.
Well, there are swamps, there are beaches, there are mountains so high you could get altitude sickness. There are 1,000 languages. It's Papua New Guinea, the land of the unexpected. And for how many years now, Roger, have you been flying a mission plane around Papua New Guinea?
A total of 16 in 2 separate stints. Wow,
so you're a seasoned aviation missionary then, I guess.
I guess some could describe it that way. I tend to think of it just in terms of doing what needs to be done, doing what I've been asked to do on different occasions.
So I've heard that flying in Papua New Guinea is possibly one of the most dangerous, sort of, in terms of geography, one of the most dangerous places in the world to fly. Is that correct? Is that your understanding?
We tend to describe it in terms of one of the most challenging places in the world. Yes, it is, because of the terrain, because of the weather and its changeableness. And so it is very, very challenging. The airstrips are very challenging. Most of them are short and steep on the side of mountains.
How have you managed to stay alive all this time?
Interesting question. Your skills really develop up there, and like all occupations, some people can adjust to the rigours that are required and to the discipline that's needed for that. But I think for those of us engaged in mission aviation at least, there is certainly another factor, and we pray before every flight, before every takeoff, and every one of us who have been mission pilots in Papua New Guinea will tell you stories of times where we are very aware that God has helped us, has changed the weather, has made things come right for us.
Now, Roger, I remember seeing a while back an old film, shot by, was it Eric Weir, is his name? Back in those early missionary days when it took weeks to get across these incredibly rugged mountains in PNG to particular places where the missionaries were supporting. Aviation just must have made an incredible difference to the lives of the people, because of that increased access.
Absolutely so. That film was filmed on a patrol from Goroka down to what we refer to as the Karamui Plateau. That flight we do almost on a daily basis, sometimes many times a day.
Wow.
It takes us just under 20 minutes each way. That walkabout took Len Barnard and the film crew and the carriers. Admittedly, they were stopping in the villages. It was a medical patrol, so they were doing immunisations along the way. I think in total it took them 5 or 6 weeks.
Goodness.
And that's one of the things that hasn't changed. Many of those areas, that area in particular, is still as far away as ever it was.
Are you still doing medical sort of stuff? Do you do medical evacuations?
We do a lot of medivacs, evacuations. More than 90% of those are totally unplanned, and the number of
it's emergency stuff,
but the number of times where I have seen where we hadn't planned to go to a particular airstrip, but because of a passenger from another airstrip or passengers wanting to go there or weather preventing us from going somewhere else and us deciding to go to that airstrip, time and time again I have seen us turn up at a particular airstrip just at a critical moment when there's somebody critically injured or a lady that's having severe problems in childbirth. And the number of times that I've seen that happen reminds me that yes, this aviation program, this aircraft may be operated by a particular Christian group, but I'm very certain that at the end of the day, very much convinced this is God's aircraft, this is God's program. He knows where we are, He knows what we're doing, He knows where people in need are.
So this year, Adventist Aviation is celebrating 50 years of operation in PNG. I mean, it's an incredible legacy. What do you see as being the major contribution that, just as we finished, that mission aviation has made to PNG?
Initially, the major contribution that it made was it gave the Seventh-day Adventist Church the freedom to be able to get where they needed to get missionaries, nurses, teachers, whatever, supplies, whenever it was needed, and not be totally dependent on commercial aviation operators.
Sure.
Over the last 50 years, I think the membership, when we first started the aviation program there, was something like 2,000 people. Today, it's the official church membership is around the 260,000. But on any given weekend, there is close to 1 million people worshipping in Adventist churches. That's counting the children and other people that are interested. So it has grown significantly. A large proportion of that growth has been in the areas that are reliant on aviation services.
Wow, okay.
Aviation is still very, very vital part of Papua New Guinea overall, a very vital part of the work of Christian organisations and churches in Papua New Guinea, and a very vital link for people just for everyday things, getting their produce out to market, getting their sick out to medical help when it's something that can't be dealt with locally. And another thing that we do a lot of is returning people after they've passed away back to their home place for burial.
Now, a little later this year, there's a 50 years anniversary celebration in Goroka. I'm planning on being there, and I think there's even one coming up sooner back in Australia, isn't there?
Correct. They're planning a celebration up at Currambong near Newcastle on the 1st of March. It'll be a weekend event there, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But the main celebration will be in Goroka, July 3 to 6.
Okay. I'm planning on being there. You're the outgoing CEO. You've just retired.
CEO.
You going back for that to Goroka?
I'm planning to go back for that celebration, and because the first aircraft, a Cessna 180, Andrew Stewart, arrived in Goroka. I think it was the 26th of June, if I've got my facts correct.
1964 is my maths good? Yeah,
that's
good. Wow. Well, hey, I'm looking forward to catching up with you there in Goroka, because I'll be there too. And thanks so much for your time today, Roger. Really appreciate it.
Very good. Thank you, Ken.
And I did attend that celebration in Goroka.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was incredible. There were thousands of people there, and it was just incredible to hear Roger and the other mission pilots, telling war stories, from back in the day, close shaves. Oh, incredible.
Sounds so cool.
Yeah.
But I can't understand why, after all these years, there still aren't roads to all these places.
Yeah, well, look, good point. It's a developing country, Papua New Guinea, and they could probably do with a decent roads network, but seriously, some of those mountains and valleys are so high and so steep, it'd literally take billions of dollars to build all the tunnels and bridges that they'd need. And then look, it's an earthquake zone. So are they going to last? Landslides, monsoon, it's tough.
Yeah, not so simple, hey. Hey, don't go away. We'll take a short break now, and we'll be back in just a second.
We live our lives running around, rarely stopping to ask ourselves where we're going and what our final destination is. In the end, our lives become little more than routine. Step beyond and discover a path that offers comfort, love and hope. Visit hopeoffer.com/step beyond or call 1300 300 389 for your free copy today.
Welcome back. Now, something the InFocus program has always been about is helping you look after yourself better.
Oh, yeah.
And these next couple of segments definitely fit into that category.
Yeah, that's right. There are thousands of people in the community right now providing full-time care in their homes for aged parents or partners, or maybe even a child with a disability. It's hard work. So Trafford Fisher wants to know, who is caring for the carers?
Yeah. But first up, you've probably noticed fad diets come and go. Our nutritionist Sue Rad took a closer look at one that's been quite popular in recent years, the low-carb, high-protein diet.
Okay, well, let's check it out.
Look, I read so much about high-protein, low-carbohydrate diets. I even tried one that actually worked in the short term. I did shift some weight. I lost a bit of tummy. Sue Rad,
Hi,
our resident
James.
nutritionist. It did work.
It does work.
Yeah.
In fact, these high-protein, low-carb diets can shift weight quite quickly in the short term.
I felt very good.
But, James, did you know that in the longer term, you're no better off than with any other diet?
Yes,
It's
and I've
been
still got all of
proven
me.
They're no better than any other diet. So they really don't do anything for your weight 1 year down the track. But really, what the concern at the moment by scientists leading in the area of gut flora is that these high protein, low carb diets may actually be doing us far more harm than good when we look at our overall health. So we know that, for example, people who eat high protein diets in the longer term, and these are predominantly high meat, high dairy type diets, high animal protein diets, they have higher rates of heart disease, various cancers, even type 2 diabetes, higher rates of constipation, and they basically live less long. So they have shorter lifespans.
I was just fascinated by the science that you spoke about. It's something to do with the glucose from the carbohydrate in the body that stores water. So
Well, there's two things. There's the lacking of the good carbohydrate, and that's what you're referring to, and then there's having too much of the bad protein. So let's take these in turn. So if you lack the good carbs, and we're not talking about sugar and white bread and white rice, that's not good carbs.
We're talking about healthy breads.
We're talking
and rolled
whole
oats,
grain breads, oats,
lentils,
barley,
good
carbs from legumes, and not to mention polenta, which has a lot of what's called resistant starch. These substances, when you eat them, your gut flora, the bacteria that live there, produce all kinds of good products called short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate, and these protect you against cancer.
And they store water.
No, they don't store water. You store water when you store carbohydrate in your body as glycogen, and that has to do with weight control. But these protect you against disease. So on a high-protein, low-carb diet, you extract these, you remove these, you suddenly are missing that protection. But to make matters worse, you're eating a lot more protein than you need. And we now know that you don't digest all the protein that you eat. In fact, James, about 10% of it reaches your colon every day.
Undigested.
Undigested. So the gut flora there that live there ferment this protein and form nasty substances. Things
you mean
like
bits of chicken and meat are actually sitting there
not quite
digested.
as bits by that stage. They're much more digested. But some of that protein from those foods will get through, and then you'll form things like ammonia, you'll form sulfides, you'll form amines, and these things have all been independently associated with things like inflammatory bowel disease, ulcerative colitis, cancer, and so on. And you change your gut flora, James, within 1 day of starting to eat these high-protein diets. This is why we're concerned, because within a day, within 2 or 3 days, you are totally changing the resident bacteria that live in your gut, you're forming bad products, and you're also missing out on the good metabolites formed from these whole foods that contain the indigestible carbohydrates.
So these high-protein, low-carb diets do work a little bit in the short term for an immediate change.
And they certainly don't work in the long term for your health. And let's face it, it's not just about losing weight, it's about being healthy at the same time. And James, you know what does work in the longer term for weight and for health?
I'd like to know.
Diets that are based on these indigestible, unrefined proteins. So we're talking plant proteins. We're talking things like legumes that we mentioned, which contain different proteins to the animal proteins, and they also contain these good carbohydrates. So these carbohydrates, they will fuel the growth of the good bacteria that will produce the right products in your gut to protect you against cancer and other diseases. And in the long term, people who live on these sort of diets actually are naturally thinner without trying to diet.
Now,
so
I'm going to try some
that?
of this good healthy bread that Sue brought today, and guys, you really need to be thinking about this. High carb
high protein,
low carb diet's
yes.
not so good for you. And you really need to be thinking more about what you're eating and why. Here's the good healthy bread.
Hi Danielle.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Very good. I'd just like to say, Trafford, I love caring for you on InFocus.
Because we're going to talk about carers.
We are.
Look, I would really admire the carers in our community. By that I mean there's professional carers.
Yeah.
They're employed to care for folk maybe who are struggling with age issues, mental challenges.
Yeah.
Then you've got the people in the homes who are caring for mum, for dad,
That's
for
right.
a child. I just really admire these people. They're the quiet, unspoken heroes.
They are.
I just think they're fabulous, and I think we underestimate their value in all aspects,
right.
the professional and the... and I guess non-professional doesn't sound right, but in the homes,
That's right.
not recognised by pay. Some of them do get some financial support, and I think that's imperative.
They do.
But I admire these people.
Well, they're often the wind beneath our wings, aren't they?
Oh, look, I think the government recognises they don't have the resources and funds to do what they do. But I just think we need to keep them to the fore, and I really respect them. I think we need to take care of them when, we need to care for the carers when we can. And we can miss them, they can float underneath the radar. Because I think their work can be very demanding. Sometimes it's 24 hours, just huge demands.
I think the demands too, Trafford, would you agree, are perhaps, not just the physical caring, but there's an emotional element and even sometimes a spiritual one to that.
No question. And I think of the carers who care for their mum or their dad or their children, that whole emotional component must be huge.
That's right. And often at their own expense.
Yep.
Caring professions generally, are not well paid.
No.
If at all.
And I think what they miss out on, they may not concentrate, but they miss out on so much because they're so busy caring. And so and I think that's important. I was going to suggest that. There's a guy by the name of Edward Cregan, Dr. Edward Cregan, and he made 3 good points, and I share those with you this morning.
Yeah.
He said when it comes to carers, he said I'd like to remind carers that the Lone Ranger or Rambo image is a myth for carers. They cannot afford to do it alone.
Yeah.
And I think I'd love to encourage carers, hey, recognise that. This is a journey that you need to share as much as you can. And while they may not be able to share the actual caring work, they need to share themselves and get some support. Make use of professionals was his second point. I think carers need to make use of good professionals in the community who
and
again
in other
support
services
them.
like respite.
Yep. Respite, yep. I think the third one is important. And maybe it's true for all of us, but particularly for carers, that's don't neglect their own needs.
Yeah.
And I loved his illustration. He said, when you're in the pre-flight thing in the aeroplane where the hostess, they say, now, if we need oxygen, the oxygen mask will fall down. And if you've got small kids, put your own oxygen mask on first so you can care. And he said, same thing for carers. And I thought that was a great image.
Well,
and he said, carers, you've got to take care of yourselves, because they get so buried in their work. So I think 3 good points. Don't go it alone. Seek help from professionals and take care of your own needs as best you can. I admire carers and I have 3 cheers for them today.
Yeah.
I honour them and I think they're terrific.
I agree, Trafford, and some great tips. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Planning your future can be a daunting task. What you want to do, who you want to be, and the road ahead can often be unpredictable. No one really knows what the future holds. Avondale. It's education designed for life.
Now, Dora, one of my favourite parts of the InFocus program has been meeting people who are doing amazing things.
Oh, thanks, Ken. That's so sweet.
Well, look, Dora, of course you're amazing too, but I was thinking more of this next interview, which is with a young boy who's been turning the typical interests of someone his age into something that's making a real difference in the lives of others.
Ooh, sounds cool. Let's check it out.
This would have to be a first for Record in Focus. We have a rapper in the studio. How are you, Jojo Rock?
I'm awesome.
You're awesome?
Yeah.
You're awesome and you know it, eh?
Yeah.
Clap your hands. How old are you, Jojo?
9 turning 10.
9 turning 10. And you're a rapper?
Yeah.
Did you just start this yesterday or?
No, I started when I was 7.
7? No way. What got you interested in rapping?
Well, I've always had a passion for kids, and so I wanted, like, my parents have been sponsoring kids for years, so I wanted to do the same.
Okay, so how does rapping fit into sponsoring kids?
Well, I raise money because I don't have a job. That would be illegal if I had a job.
That would be child labour, yes.
And so I rap to raise money to sponsor him.
So you do like fundraising events or busking and stuff like that?
No, I'm going to busk.
Oh, you're going to busk, but you've done fundraising events before and...
Not that sure.
No?
No, I don't.
What, like church and stuff? Like you rap and like people give you money in the hat or whatever?
No.
Or... No? Well, how do you raise money with rapping then?
They donate on my website.
They don't? Okay. So, okay. So you rap and then you tell them a story about sponsoring a child and say, hey, go on my website. Help me. Oh, okay, I get it. So, you've got a website. Do you know what the website is?
It's called jojorock.com.
Got that? jojorock.com. It's on your screen. Okay, so why rapping? What got you interested in rapping as an art form?
Well, it took us a long time to get to our church, probably about an hour. And so I got 3 brothers, all under 5. They used to drive our parents crazy. And so...
Not you, of course. You wouldn't drive them crazy.
I wouldn't.
No, okay.
But they were fighting and all that, laughing, crying, and so...
Fighting.
Yeah. And so our dad said, do you want to listen to some rap music and to pass the time? And so we did. It didn't pass all the time, so we started freestyling.
Okay, so which rap artists were you listening to that sort of inspired you?
Well, there's Seven, he's a Christian rapper. There's Toby Mac.
Oh, yeah?
The Commission and Crosswords.
Okay, what about Lecrae? You like Lecrae?
Yeah, but I've only listened to one of his songs.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's coming in your one of your newer influences as you get a bit older. Okay, so you listen to these rappers and what you're rapping along with them and learning their lyrics and learning how sort of rap goes, yeah?
Yeah.
And then you started doing your own stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you write your own first raps or did mum and dad help you or what happened?
So my dad, he did a song with his cousin. It was called 3 Hands. And they wrote the verse and chorus, but they never succeeded in it. But so they bring it back up with me, and I did it. I recorded it.
Do you remember the rap bit in that you did?
Yeah.
Can you do it for me?
Yep. I jump for joy when I praise the Lord. He's my God and my protector, and the bars my sword. Just like still a little saint trying to get in my way, but with the Lord on my side, I'm saying not today. He's my bridge over troubles and waters. The land of father offered the cross to the altar. A silent death, cause not a word was said. A crown of thorns for the king's head. They cursed him, they whipped him, they beat him, and stripped him, and pierced his side, just like the prophets read. Said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they do. He could go down his angel, but instead it chose not to. His spirit's alive, he can't stop him. No, he can't tap him. When the devil tries to drub him with the word that was God, the word that is God. The word stood the time into the high out. I got no doubt that thoughts are thrown out. Only he to press the Lord, so I gotta shout.
Wow. You how long ago did you do that?
When I was 7.
And you still remember it?
Yeah.
Every word, perfectly?
Because we're making new versions of it.
Wow, okay. So you're rapping, you're raising awareness of you're actually sponsoring a child, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is he? Where or she? Who is it?
It's a he, and his name is Charles. He lives in Uganda, and when he grows up, he wants to be a doctor. Wow. He lives in a very poor family, but he loves to play soccer.
Oh wow! Do you like soccer as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that's something you've got in common then. And
he's probably better than me.
Oh, okay. He's a bit older than you, is he? Or?
Yeah, he's older.
Yeah, and maybe a bit more experienced with soccer. Yeah, fair enough. So, wow, what makes a kid want to sponsor another kid? You could have just left it up to mum and dad. They're heaps rich, aren't they?
No.
No?
Well, they've been sponsoring kids for years, and I wanted to do the same. So.
Okay. Wow, man, that's really cool. So have you've done a bit of interesting musical work with different artists and stuff, haven't you?
Yeah.
Who have some of those been?
I've done it with Seven. As I mentioned before.
Okay. So one of your influences, then you got to actually work together.
And Crosswords. who took me in when I was 7 and taught me how to rap and gave me the skill. The commission who I did a tour with.
And one of my friends, I think, Sarah Otto.
Yeah, Sarah Otto.
That's right. So
I did
she helped with one of yours? She didn't rap though, did she? She sang.
No. Yeah, it's called Oh Holy Night.
Yep. And then just recently you did a Amazing Grace rap, didn't you?
Yeah.
With, what's his name?
Ozzy from the Sowers
From
Group.
the Sowers Group. Okay, they're like an
Costo.
African group, eh?
Yeah.
Which connects because you're sponsoring an
African child.
Oh, that works
And
really
I've
well.
also I've got another one that lives in Thailand.
Oh, you got 2 sponsored children now?
Yeah.
Oh, heck, let's put that website back on the screen again because that's something else to help out Jojo Rock with. So how do you think you're going to go with this rapping thing? Are you going to take it further or are you going to grow out of it or what?
I'm going to take it further and do what I was born to do.
Yeah? You reckon this is what you're born to do, eh?
Yeah.
Rapping, it's in your blood, it's your destiny.
Yeah. I'm Jojo Rock. I'm 9 years old. I'm on a mission to stop child poverty cold. Gonna bust my rhymes till my voice goes coarse. I'm walking in the footsteps of William Wilberforce. I'm rhyming to the kids in the Western world. They can make a difference to a boy or girl who are living in poverty, wanting to be free. Looking at you with me now, I can't see. We can solve injustice in the world today. Stand up on your feet so we can have our say. Sponsoring the child is a powerful way. One job for another, we can save the day. You don't have to be big, you don't have to be tall. You gotta stand up to change the world. I'm not big, I'm a little bit small. You and I, we can change the world. You don't have to be big, you don't have to be tall. You gotta stand up to change the world. I'm not big, I'm a little bit small. You and I, we can change the world.
Oh, so cute and talented.
Oh, thanks, Dora.
Not you.
No, look, he's a great kid, isn't he? And making a difference too.
Yeah, it's awesome. It kind of reminds me of the question God asked Moses, what do you have in your hand?
Yeah.
It was just a walking stick, but God used it to perform miracles.
Yeah, hey, so whether you have a stick in your hand or a hip-hop beat in your heart, turn it over to God and see what incredible things he'll do with your life.
Definitely. Thanks for joining us on The Couch this week. Would love to hear your comments on today's program, so please feel free to connect with us. Email, Facebook, Twitter.
Oh, yeah, please do. All the best. We'll see you next time on InFocus Recouched.
God bless.